Forests of the South are some of the most unique forests in the world. From the hardwood forests of the Appalachians all the way down to the wetland forests of the coastal plain and the Gulf Coast, these forests provide amazing habitat for many, many different kinds of species of plants and animals. They protect our watersheds and our wildlife.
160 plus tree species, all different varieties. We have more mussels and salamanders and crayfish than anywhere on the planet.
And they provide a place for spiritual renewal.
The solitude, quietness, just the beauty. Every time you go in the woods, you see something different, you see something new.
Dogwood Alliance is an organization that focuses on protecting southern forests, and the South is the world's largest paper-producing region.
In the 80s, the paper industry and the timber industry started to move from the Pacific Northwest to the South, and during that time there was a massive influx of chip mills that were moving in, and communities started to get concerned.
Dogwood organized the region and people who were concerned about this into a single voice so that we could be louder and that we could hold the industry accountable. We shined a big spotlight on the destruction on the landscape that was being caused by the paper industry. So the industry fought back hard, with their big, gigantic PR machines. The public hearings that we would organize, landowners would show up, bloggers would show up, industry would show up, and it was intense.
Dogwood was birthed out of that movement, so communities and environmental groups coming together to take on the massive influx of the paper industry and all the destruction that was happening due to that.
That's when we said the root of the problem here is the consumption and production of paper. And if we're going to affect that, we've got to change the market demand for paper in this country. Staples was our first campaign in the marketplace. And over a 2-year period, we had 600 protests out in front of their stores.
Hundreds of demonstrations across the country, action at their shareholder meetings, and all kinds of different activities that really pushed the company to think about the impact that their paper was having on the forests of the South.
We knew we had to get a policy that was a game changer, and we kept campaigning until we got Staples to commit to that level of change. So at the end of that 2-year period, we stood side by side with Staples in a joint press conference and publicly applauded them for the changes that they were making. And we've turned them from an opponent into an ally. We've done the impossible.
The Staples was the first, which started a chain reaction on the rest of the office supply industry, Office Depot, Office Max, etc.
We understand what it means to negotiate. We understand how to negotiate. It's through a combination of grassroots pressure and skillful negotiation that we're able to channel the voices of thousands of people into the corporate boardrooms in a way that makes a difference on the landscape.
They move forward with vision, with strategy, with a plan. They are very opposed to just reacting. They really do things strategically.
We now have 3 of the 5 biggest paper producers in the biggest paper producing region of the world changing the way they do business in the woods. But we're not done yet.
So over the last year, we launched a hard-hitting campaign on KFC to get them to use less packaging, to use more recycled paper in their packaging, and when they couldn't get recycled paper, to make sure that they weren't buying paper and packaging from the most destructive practices in the woods. While we were doing that, we've also been engaging other fast food companies, and in the last 6 months, we got a policy from McDonald's, which is having an impact on KFC.
In the next 15 years, we envision a major scale-up of forest conservation through the Carbon Canopy Project, a project where we are figuring out how landowners can get paid to leave trees in the woods instead of having to log them to generate revenue.
My name is Jim Sitz. I'm the Appalachian Timber Manager for Columbia Forest Products. We buy yellow poplar logs here. We peel them and turn them into decorative hardwood plywood. We got involved with the Dogwood Alliance through an organization that they had put together with some other companies, Staples and Domtar, called the Carbon Canopy. And the Carbon Canopy is trying to find a way to bring eco-services to landowners. We want to do things right. We want to be good stewards of the land. We want to be good stewards of our environment, of the resources that we use. It's foolish not to be.
The next big threat to southern forest is utility companies.
You know, someone had the bright idea that we should burn forests for electricity. So basically burn in the thing that's supposed to protect us from climate change to make electricity. And the South is being looked at as ground zero for that. It's going to lead to a massive increase in the amount of large-scale clear cutting, a massive increase in the amount of natural forest converted to plantations. And when you look closely at it, you're actually increasing carbon emissions. And so what we're working to do is make sure that that does not become a large-scale reality.
This is going to be the next big campaign for Dogwood, is going to be the bioenergy campaign and pushing back the threat of burning forests for fuel. We're very fortunate at Dogwood that we've had the support that we've had across the region to do this work. We would never have been able to make this kind of transformative change and have the vision and the strategy looking forward for the next 15 years if it hadn't been for all the people out there who are taking action on our campaigns, who are volunteering in the office and across the region, and who are donating.
With anything, when we support something like Dogwood Alliance, we do it with our time, with our energy, and with our money. What I see with the money is that you're giving this money so that these brilliant people can do their genius work in the world, and you go off and do your genius work in the world, and that's how this is all going to create a movement that we so need.
We are at a crossroads right now on this planet, and the next 15 years are critical. And the protection of our forests is an essential part of the picture. Our ability to affect change is only as powerful as the number of people that are involved in our organization. So the more people who are involved, the bigger impact we have.
To the stone.